Welcome back to the Mountain Morning Show, where I'm very happy to have recruiter guy Bill Humbert here in studio. Of course, his book, The Recruiter Guy's Guide to Finding a Job. Welcome, and of course you're working on that final edition, the newest edition of the book. I am. I sent a brand new second chapter to my editor last night. Awesome. And then what was the old second chapter got moved to third chapter, and I did a rewrite on that and forwarded that too. Wow. So yeah, terrific stuff. Yeah, I'm excited to see it when we get that. Yeah, probably be around the first of the year. First of the year. Looks of things. All right. Yeah. Good Christmas gift. Yes. Recruiter guy Bill Humbert. That's right. Good Christmas gift. We get to the end of the year too, and people start thinking about switching up jobs as well, especially the first part of the year. This is when this happens a lot. And some employers are kind of big on doing it all at once. We're going to hire X number of positions, and we're going to bring them all in the same day so we can get a lot of work done and getting them onboarded. And in those situations, and I've been in one of those before, it often feels like just this herd mentality, this feel of like, okay, just going to go through the motions of going through the paperwork and all this stuff, and and then maybe they introduce you to people, maybe they don't. Sometimes they just turn you loose, leave you to your own devices. I don't know, it just kind of depends on where you go, but most everybody I've seen doesn't really do a terrific job. There's very few that do it really well. That's true, Joe. I've seen so many times where people come in and they're all herded into the room where HR has, and they fill out their W-2s and they fill out their I-9s and all of the information they got to fill out, and then they're all herded out. Yeah. And what do you feel is that a good first impression, or is it a better first impression when you have one person and they're welcomed? Yeah, I don't know. You can do it good if you do. There are companies that have done that well. I remember when I got maybe my second or third job, Continental Airlines. It was a big hire, right? They hired a bunch of people at once. It was something in the order of like 60 or 70 people. And we came in, and they did a presentation with a movie about flying and about how much fun an airline is, and that was exciting, right? Right. And then it was like, all right, now you got to fill all your paperwork, right? Right. And that part, they were stellar. But then there was the next day. We show up the next day, and the boss comes in. The big boss. He walks up to the front of the room, and he's got a stack of papers this thick. And he slams it down on the desk, and he goes, "These are the resumes for all the people who want the job you have right now. And we'll gladly give it to any of them if you don't meet all the requirements." I'm like, wow. I wasn't sure I want to work here anymore. Wow. Right? That was a little depressing. Yeah, it's interesting. Right? It's not the way to do it. No. No, why? I'd be recruiting out of there, as a matter of fact. That would be fun. Yeah. Why isn't it the way to do it? Why should we do it different? Well, let's face it, people want to feel welcome. Yeah. And if you feel like they're part of the herd, that's their first impression of your company. And isn't it better if that's a lasting impression? Right. Isn't a better attitude one, gosh, we've worked so hard to find you. Thank goodness you're here. Welcome aboard. I can't wait for the impacts. That feels good. Doesn't it? That's a much better way of doing things. And that's lasting. It's lasting, absolutely. Yeah. I remember we just went through a transition here at this company, and I remember as we were getting close to it, they came up to me like, "We really like you. Don't go anywhere." I'm like, I'm okay with that. I'll take that. That was good. Yeah. That made me feel, that was enough. Right? So it doesn't take a lot, but it takes something. Right. It takes effort. So having a great attitude. Yep. Huge. Oh, it's amazing. Yeah. What about what are some of the things that companies can do that they can do better? What are some of the things they should think about improving on? The first thing they need to do for onboarding is create a checklist. Computers, software licenses, office equipment. I got a quick story. I started a recruiting contract at MCI, Telecommunications. They knew I was coming for about 3 days, and the person that was my manager said, "Well, here's your cube." So I go into Cube,
and start looking around.
Yeah.
I walk back into my manager's office and I go, Don, is this a telecommunications company? And he goes, yes. Are you going to issue me a roll of quarters, or are you going to give me a phone?
Right? Wow.
Just something simple that was kind of needed.
Yeah.
As a recruiter, you know, back in '92, there wasn't a lot of internet action then, so it would have been nice to have a phone. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. So it's
that's
a little quick checklist.
Got to figure it out.
Yep.
Make somebody feel welcomed.
Yep.
Okay, so if we go the obvious ones, that's certainly part of it. But talk about, I think there's another part of it too, making sure that the people feel included amongst the others who are there. There is a process to this too.
You know, one of the things that is probably a really good idea is to have somebody in your group be selected as a peer to guide you.
Okay.
Because every time you start a new job, you have to learn everything. You have to learn the company's culture, the protocols, everything. And this is a person that if the manager is busy, that person can go to and just say, how do I go about setting up a meeting with other groups? Or just the simple questions that are usually not covered during orientation or onboarding.
Well, and I suppose for a lot of people, especially leadership positions, you come into these things and you're supposed to just start managing people, right? And they're people who have already been there.
Right.
You got to have a pretty good handle on who those people are and how you call them to that meeting or how you do that first step of. So they're, especially in a leadership role, this is super critical.
It is, and it's critical for anybody, really, when you think about it. Anybody that's in a professional position where they might be dealing, let's say I'm in sales, I might also be dealing with marketing. Who do I deal with over there?
Yeah. Are you going to leave somebody to their own devices to figure that out?
Right.
So who do I talk to? Hi, marketing.
Right.
Who is it that's my liaison there?
Which of the 4 people in there do I need to talk to?
And they're like, you're who? I'm your new boss.
Right. Or maybe not even boss. I'm just trying to, work with you to build a new marketing program for the sales that we're creating. So.
Oh boy.
Yeah.
Yeah, so really streamlining this, super important.
It is.
Okay. How about this? Other suggestions, things that we haven't thought of that maybe we ought to be considering here?
Well, there are so many things when you think about the onboarding process. But the most important thing is to do the basics well.
Okay.
And doing the basics well, and if you're going to be a Super Bowl team, what's the benchmark of a Super Bowl team? Blocking, tackling, making sure that you're doing the basics well. And so the checklist is helpful, but one of the things that I really strongly suggest is you bring the an executive in, it doesn't matter, or if it's a startup, the founder, and have that person go, gosh, it's so good to have you here. We love the fact that you're on board and we can't wait for the impacts that you're going to make for us. That makes a person feel well. It's, wow, they're excited I'm here. And what happens? They go home, they talk to their significant other or spouse.
Get some buy-in at home.
Yeah.
Oh, is that important?
It is. It is. And, wow, they thought the executives came in and talked to us. They thought that was so important.
You know what I think is a lost art, too, is the company picnic or the company event right after that to welcome that person to, right? Going to their home so that your significant other is there and does get to meet some of these people and has an idea that you're valued, right?
That's right.
Because it's so easy to not think so, and you come home and you're like, another horrible day at the office, and they're like, if they're positive about it, right? They're like, what are you talking about? You've got it so good there. Those are good people, right?
Yeah.
Or you get, that's miserable. You should quit.
Right. It does
There's
happen
a big
occasionally.
difference.
When Colleen Jordan was the vice president of HR at Trex Company, so the composite wood deck and railing material company, what she would do is that person's first day, she would have a Harry and David's fruit basket delivered to their house.
Wow. That'll get you some mileage.
It will. I mean, it's simple. It doesn't cost very much, but think of what it does.
Yeah, and there's plenty of companies, by the way, there's plenty of companies out there that you can hire to do that for you. You don't have to do nothing. You just give them a call and give them a list, and they take care of the rest.
They do.
Yeah,
Yep.
That's something to think about for sure.
Yep. So it's an
Inexpensive
easy
and way to do it.
thing. Yeah, it's an easy thing, but it makes a great first
Awesome.
impression.
All right, speaking of first impressions, you have an event coming up that we should be talking about, a speakers event.
Yeah, this is going to be really a great event. It's at the Salt Lake City Downtown Library Auditorium.
Yeah, great
And
location.
It's the National Speakers Association. The Salt Lake City Mountain West chapter is holding a 9:30 to 4:30 event on October 18th. And it's going to be on stage, and there's just going to be one speaker after another speaking from 6 to 8 minutes on their favorite topics.
Wow.
And it's free. Anybody's welcome to come. And it'll be a really good time, and there's going to be some great speakers down there, too. So it'll be an opportunity to see some people up there on stage having fun.
Maybe some surprise ones, people you wouldn't think might be there.
There might be some there that you wouldn't think. I'm going to be
Recruiter
there.
guy Bill Humbert will be there.
I'll be there.
I'm looking forward to it, my friend. Yeah, definitely
Thanks,
want to
Joe.
check that
Yeah.
out. So make sure you visit that October 18th at the library in Salt Lake City, their auditorium, which if you haven't been in it, is really nice. That facility is tremendous. So check that out for sure. And of course, check out the Recruiter Guy's Guide to Finding a Job for more information on Recruiter Guy, Bill Humbert. We'll be back with more right after these messages. We're making some pie right here on Park City Television.